think a lot of them are the same ones I already said earlier when it comes to boundaries, but honesty is huge. Second thing, who are your friends? Like what you just said. Who are your friends? If this dude doesn't have any guy friends, run for the hills. Because here's why. You're gonna get in this dating relationship. What if something comes up? What if you guys are really struggling with lust? Like you wanna take it there, and who's he gonna go to? What, you guys are gonna work that out together? I don't think so. Let's just hold each other accountable not to have sex. Can I tell you, 100% of the time that doesn't work. Like every woman who's ever been on my couch, you know, sharing this, 100% of the time that does not work, okay? He needs friends in his life. And when things go wrong, he needs someone to talk to. If he starts acting crazy, especially with his wife, then you don't have the power over him. Right? Like you just don't. He needs friends to be like, you're a fool, get your life right, you know? And you need it too. So it's not just him. So those are big things. And then again, service is massive. That's a huge thing. Like, does he only serve important people? Is he willing to do things nobody cares about? Is he willing to just like get his hands dirty? That's big. And then the other thing I would say is you gotta have chemistry, but I would say specifically in the area of calling, like is he threatened by you? Like I'm looking at a room of incredible women, and you have got to be with someone who's not threatened by your strength and who's not constantly trying to tear you down. Like I experienced that with a Christian boyfriend who was always just like, why do you serve so much? Like, why do you give so much? It's too much. You're too much. It's too much. It was always too much. And for me, it was just like, I'm looking for someone who can outserve me. Like, I don't want to babysit you while I'm serving. You know, like I don't want you sitting there being like, oh my God, 30 more minutes. You know, it's like, what are you, 5? Like, get over yourself. So that's a huge one. Yeah, so those are big red flags. And then if they don't pay for stuff, you know, I'm old school. So sorry, but I'm old school. Like, no, we don't split the check. You asked me on this date, we don't split things. Like, I did not ask you out. I'm not buying half this meal. I'm not buying your meal. It's old school. Yes, you need to open my door. Absolutely, because I'm old school. And maybe some of you have different values. You know, you're just like, I never want anybody to open my door, and that's completely cool. I've seen that on the West Coast. It's a normal thing. Where I'm from, it's like, that's rude. You better get my door. And so Cody was very much a gentleman that way.
I have a question on that. This might sound so like stupid. But
It's
I have not
stupid.
dated since I've came to Christ a few years ago. I've just been trying to work myself.
Yeah.
Because I know I need a lot of work.
Good job.
So, how would you say something like that without, like, how do you voice that? I don't know how to voice things in a normal, healthy way.
Sure. Like paying for things, you mean?
Yeah, or like opening, like.
Well, you just don't do anything. That's my husband. My husband. This is what he tells women. It's the greatest advice ever. He says 2 things always, and that is time is your friend, and the second thing he says is don't do anything and see what he does. So it's like, okay, great. So I literally, like, my husband schooled me. He taught me to stand and wait. Like, I just literally would stand and wait till he opened my door, or I never reached for my purse when the bill came. It was just like, okay, I'm gonna sit here. Like, you're gonna have to ask me to help you pay for this check because I'm not opening my wallet.
And then would you tell them?
And if they did, probably if it's like a first date, I'd be like, sure, I'll pay for half, and then I'm never going out again. You know, so these are my thoughts and opinions. There's nothing in the Bible this is not written in Proverbs. Like, this is good.
Oh yeah, so some red flags I can think of is when a guy won't acknowledge you to others. Or if he
That's
wants,
a big one.
yeah, so that's like one thing. Another is if a guy is either doesn't have a job or he's homeless.
Yeah, those are both huge flags. And it doesn't mean that there's no judgment in those things. It's just like I had to learn that being in a relationship did not mean my job was to be this person's minister or fixer. So it's okay for someone to be homeless, it's okay for someone not to have a job, it's okay for someone to be struggling, it's okay for him to have no manners, but that doesn't mean I have to date that. Right? So you just get to make your choices.